which is around us in the form of light and love. Moving on to the presentation, I present to you 24 at BlueRoseM, Hexa methodology of quantum science. However, please bear in mind this is not a totality of everything that BlueRose does. There are many things that are not said here, neither is it listed, because they are on such an interpersonal level that it's very difficult to explain it on a very normal scale of reality. Saying this, I want to move on to how my formulations is wrapped around the solutions that BlueRose provides on a business perspective. So we have life directives which are very personal in terms of personal problems that people bring to us on a very intense level. Sometimes business issues are also very intense, and they're all catered around problem solutions at the present moment. We also do work on projective visions for strategies. Basically, the vision is on a very high level. When people come for a business issues, an example, basically their thoughts are quite scattered all over the place. When we have a clear and precise vision, then the strategy is fundamentally laid out by the universe on how to solve this using metaphysical formulations. However, the vision itself is the fundamental, because there are three aspects to problem solutions. One is the thought, one is the emotions, and one is the action plans. So the entire vision with the strategy is worked around this to create a report and to guide and to lead people towards achieving the final outcome of a vision that is projected. What is also very interesting as I move ahead with solutions that we are revamping with the current state of situation is also to look at a new financial risk assessment KPI based on our very own BlueRose MALINI's metaphysics formulas that are used for activations as well. This is currently being tried out, and then there are another 2 companies that I will try this out before finalizing the entire formulation. And this will be a tool available for, especially so for SMEs, given the current situation. Okay, now looking at this slide, this is how the BlueRose formulations work. I'm not going to go through in detail every information on there, but let's just focus on the M1, which is on the arrow, M1 right up to F3. Basically, when you see the alphabet M, I'm referring to the masculine energy, and F is the feminine energy. So basically the entire formulation is the balance of the yin and yang, or known as the feminine and the masculine energy, because I'm working on the theory of equilibrium. Basically, equilibrium means at a soul level, each and every one of us, as both the feminine and the masculine part of us, they don't represent gender here. They represent a principle of action, or a principle or of a thought process. So rather, let's not genderize it here, and accept the reality that each and every one of us come with both sources of energy, which has to be on the equilibrium point of view to have it harmoniously circulating in terms of the processes of businesses and or life. Basically, again, I would like to emphasize that I'm talking about an equilibrium form of energy, which is known as yin and yang, or in the Vedic way we term it as Shiva Shakti, and in the Western reality of things is termed as masculine and feminine energy. When a business process is mapped conceptually, we are looking at the start of a life cycle and right up to the end of a life cycle. When someone comes to me with issues, basically they like to categorize, in example, revenue, but actually revenue could source from a different issue altogether. And by looking at problem solutions on an individual level, we can also look at the root cause and issue apart from Akashic records. So the reference here are not the all of all the businesses a business process that are mapped, but an indicative reference as to where, when one comes to us for a solution, we can identify where they are sitting in terms of a soul consciousness, and or when we apply at a residential science, exactly the location in a house or a business premise can be identified on a year level, because energy are shifting. It shifts by the day, it shifts by the month, and it shifts by the year. So however, we cannot just keep on changing on a monthly basis unless it's deemed required and it's essential. In most cases, we look at a yearly shift or a 6-month shift of energetic patterns to address these problems in terms of life and business. Moving on to the next slide. You can see how the hexagrams are mapped. Basically, they form the Star of David. The Star of David is the root of all hexagrams, where from here there are multiple expansions of each energetic patterns, but that becomes too complex to talk about it. I'm not talking about how one needs to apply, basically how the report is catered for one to address their problem. Moving on, this next process that is mapped is based on a life process. Again, I would not like to go through the details. Earlier was business, and this is life processes that are mapped. Do bear in mind, this is not the all of all areas that are mapped here. It's an indicative reference for one to know that there are various areas of life, and they actually sit in various different pillars, or rather consciousness matrix of our life and of our soul, and they are addressed in a different way to look at problem solution. But fundamentally, the message here is that these are all wisdom that is applied on a very equilibrated level. Is again coming back to the theory of yin and yang. This chart again is mapped for the life directives. I'm not going to duplicate the whole sentence, and let's move on to the next slide. Okay, basically this is an example of how a projective vision is done for someone. We look at in terms of who, what, how and when, basically to achieve the vision right up to the action plans. It is very complex. This is just a reference. It's too complex to say that it will be it may not be the same for everyone, because every situation is different and everyone is different, and the report will come out differently for each individual and for each business. So I would not cover too much of the aspect of what is contained in here, but this is basically how at this very present moment our projective vision with a strategy on how to walk through their action plans to achieve the vision of what is overlaid in terms of the purpose of the whole problem solution. Moving on. From here, I will leave it at your convenience and timing to go through the content of the next 2 slides. With this, I would like to say thank you for your timing and opportunity. We do have Facebook and all other social media accounts under BlueRose MALINI. Please follow and click likers to receive more up-to-date information. We will try our level best to update content from BlueRose perspective of metaphysical content, and due to the current workload situation, we have not been able to post much content, but we will try to improve this mechanism and keep it more up to date. Till we meet and or chat again. Thank you.